Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the meeting this evening and listening in on our audience. This is the Enon Village Council meeting for Tuesday, July 27th, 2021. This is my normal spiel, but when the mayor is not here, Mayor Howard is out of town this evening. And according to the Village of Enon Rules of Council and the Ohio Revised Code, if the mayor is absent, the president of council or the president pro temp becomes the presiding official. Therefore, as president of council, I'll be acting on behalf of Mayor Howard this evening. With that, can you have the roll call, Mr. Seifert?
Mr. Babcock?
Here.
Mrs. Sweet?
Here.
Mr. Bear?
Here.
Mr. Whitaker? Mrs. Fogel?
Here.
Mr. Hannah?
Here. With that, we have enough members of council present to satisfy a quorum and call the meeting to order. And if you'd stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any additions to our agenda or communication items this evening?
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Whitaker from the meeting this evening.
Okay.
A second.
The second. And Kevin, if you'd call the...
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes. Thank you. And at this point, can we review and consider a motion for the approval of the minutes from the Tuesday, July 13th meeting?
So moved.
Okay. And Kevin, call the order.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes. Thank you again. We have our financial reports, our cash summary documents in front of us this evening. If you'd like to look those over, and if there are any comments or concerns off of it, we will not be voting on that tonight, but if you have any situation you'd like to discuss off of that, feel free.
Hey, Kevin, I don't recall, but under other personal services in both the general fund and in the street construction fund, what falls underneath that category?
I will have to get back with you on that.
Because those are significantly higher than the
Yep.
50%, and I couldn't recall why, we have those in there and why they might be over.
What funds was that in? The general fund?
It's the very first line, Kevin.
Okay,
On both of them, for the water fund and the general fund.
okay.
But we're spending at a higher clip than normal, and that may be seasonal. I mean, there may be a reason for that. I'm not saying it should be 50% because not all expenses come at the same time.
Right.
I just don't recall what that's for.
I'll check and so I can get the correct answer to you, yes.
Dave, you're talking about that for the streets, that 10,833 figure?
No, I'm talking about the very first line, the 40,000 in appropriation, 29 in expenditures, 73% spent.
Yeah, that's it, the unencumbered balance,
And then,
10,033.
right, and then on the general fund, it was 37 appropriation, 25 spent. And so 70%, almost 70% spent.
Okay.
And then, but like I said, there may be valid reasons for that, but not everything goes at a 50% clip, but.
Okay. So noted.
Yes.
Okay, at this
That was the only
time.
question I had. Yeah, that was the only question I had, Rick.
Go ahead. You good then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, we have a presentation from our proposed Eagle Scout project, and Ian Young, if you'd like to step forward, Ian, and tell us what your plans are, and just comfortable, and go ahead. Sure, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.
So, hi, my name is Ian Young. I'm a Life Scout from Troop 17 here in Enon, Ohio, and I'm here to present my presentation for my proposed Eagle Scout project. It's the last requirement I have for my Eagle Scout, and it is a Gaga Ball pit that could be here in Enon Park. So, you might be wondering, what is Gaga Ball? You might not have heard it at all, and so really, Gaga Ball is a fast-paced, high-energy sport played in an octagonal or hexagonal pit. The better the players, the more the players, the better.
So you guys can see it? I can see it. Yep. Thank you. I'll hold it for you if you want.
Thank you. Again, the more players, the better is actually dubbed a kinder and softer version of dodgeball. The game is played with a soft foam ball, and it uses the skills of dodging, striking, running, and jumping while trying to hit opponents with a ball below their knees. Players need to keep moving to avoid getting hit by the ball. The object of the game is to be the last one standing. And fun and easy. Everyone gets a serious workout from it, and it's just fun for a lot of people. Now you also might be wondering, asking the question, why have a Gaga Ball pit here in Enon Park? Well, I've noticed that when I've gone to other places that there is a Gaga Ball pit. There's a lot of kids there. There's a lot of people there. They really enjoy it, and again, it's like a fast-paced game, and a bunch of kids like fast-paced games. So that's why I'd like to implement a Gaga Ball pit, not only for my benefit for an Eagle Scout, but also for the benefit of the community. It not only appeals to younger kids, it also appeals to kids my age, because right now, if you go to Enon Park, all you have for your kids my age is a skate park, and not like me, not everyone can skate. So a Gaga Ball pit in there would be a fun, easy game to play and easy to learn, and basically that. I'll have a metal plate of rules posted if I get to build the project. It will be on the front wall of the hexagonal pit, the one facing where everybody should be parking. The dimensions of the project, it is a hexagonal pit that will be 8 feet long on each side, on an 18 feet by 2 inch, 18 by 18 feet 2 inch square concrete pad. The area of the pit will be 166.272 feet squared, and the concrete will be 8 inches deep, except 4 inches will be on the bottom of gravel, and then 4 inches of concrete with gravel is for drainage. The total cost estimate of my project with the wood, the concrete, the brackets, also the pit will be 30 inches high. It all comes down to $1,743.79. And if I get your approval on this, you also might be wondering, what can the council do? Well, the council, if you can at all, make donations, help digging the footer of the pad that it needs to go on, and just spreading the word of mouth for the fundraisers. And that would help out a lot, especially donations, because I did not expect the project to be this high amount of money. Of course, though, too, the building market is changing drastically, so the money can go up or down. It just depends on, how it is when it comes time to the date. I'd also like to know, if I get your approval at all for this project, where it could go. I'd like to get a council member out to Enon Park and ask where could it go in Enon Park, because I'd like to have a visual view of where I can put it, so I can mark out the directions of it. Of course, I handed out all of you a handout, and I have my poster board here if you would like to look at it all. It has some pretty good information on it, And thank you to everyone who is here for letting me to come and present. And thank you for Mr. Seifert to getting me on the schedule. And that is all I have for you. Any questions?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'd say, I don't know what most of us would do without growing up with the old dodgeball and get hit in the face with it as we were young. You know, that was a rite of passage, you getting your brains beat out with that. But for right now, if it would be council's suggestions or any comments there until we speak with the mayor and with Jeremy to make sure where we want to put it, as long as with locates, we may have to look at some locates where wiring may go or something like that at Enon Park.
Sure.
Would it be possible for you to come back to maybe our next meeting when the mayor is here? That would be on, let's see, it would be August 10th, correct?
August 10th, yes.
Would that be possible?
What's your deadline, Ian?
Yeah.
Is that going to work with your deadline?
So I originally, if I can, of course, I haven't presented to my Scoutmaster or Troop Committee
Okay.
or district yet because I felt it was better to come and present to you. Because if I didn't get your approval, then why would I present to my Scoutmaster and all that stuff?
No, I think we have interest in it. Absolutely
Yeah.
something more for our kids, and that's one thing we put out to on social media is for our parks. How can we get better use out of them? And then now knowing the dimensions and where that might fit or where it might be a better place, I don't, unless anybody else had any objections, I really don't see any thoughts about the plans. But
I had originally had a deadline scheduled for myself for September and finishing maybe in November, but it really doesn't matter as long as I can actually get it done.
Have you considered other places, Ian, such as maybe Galloway Park?
Yes, I have. But I thought Enon Park would maybe be better because not a lot of people, more people go to Enon Park than they do Galloway. So it's a bigger attraction, and I think the Gaga Ball Pit would stand out better in Enon Park.
Have you even scouted a place or have a recommended place? You know, should you talk to Kevin or the mayor or as far as where you might put it there versus, you know, one of our other parks?
I have not.
Okay.
So, but I can talk to other people if you like.
We could probably arrange a meeting with the village administrator, the mayor, and myself, and we'll all go down as a group maybe and look to see where the best fit is for the village. Anybody else want to attend? I think that might be helpful.
And that wouldn't have to wait until the next council meeting. You can get that done a lot sooner.
yeah, I've got no problem at all with that. Whatever his council's thoughts are off of that. So if you guys want to go ahead and scout out and
Sure.
and
You can give me some dates
Come
when
back.
you're available. If you're available during the day or evening or something.
Okay.
So
We
is
can go down there and-
the mayor gone just the rest of the week or just tonight? Or
I didn't ask.
do you
I think it was just tonight.
just
Yeah, I
tonight?
think they had some plans, so.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, if you kind
Jay,
of give me a
if you-
couple dates and times, you know, then we can get with the chief and the mayor and meet down at the park and just kind of see maybe what the best option is down there.
Okay. Cool.
The mayor was formerly an Eagle Scout himself, so I know that we've been very proactive with trying to help anybody that came forward with us with their plans. So, you know, we strongly encourage you to continue with this, and we appreciate what you do, and I'm sure that we can come to some agreement at a location.
Sure,
Help your vision become a reality.
sure.
Absolutely. I mean,
And
I
we can
have
get
no
you out
problem
before
with
the frost falls, maybe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ann, I appreciate it.
No problem.
And we'll have some copies in case you guys might want to.
I actually have.
Okay, yeah.
Just waiting for somebody to ask how many sides on it.
Thanks, a good job well done.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
And with that, we'll go to the staff reports and Mr. Seifert.
All right. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, council, residents. First item on the agenda, I just want to let you know that we did get a land use agreement for the Apple Butterfest. Just wanted to bring it to your attention. It is October 8th through the 10th from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we will get that to Mr. DeVore and hopefully have a good Apple Butterfest.
And that's the setup time on Friday, and then the open to the public on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. So once again, we'll be coordinating with the chief here and getting barricades and like we have in the past and stuff, and we'll get all that taken care of too for that as well, so.
The fire department as well, because we had to use their big traffic devices or the barrels,
Water to
orange
fill the
barrels.
barricades.
Water, yeah.
Water to fill the barricades. And please have someone put a flag on the flagpole, on the pole in front of Elmer's house so we can have
Oh, yes.
opening ceremonies.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I think we borrowed those from down at the state, do they still have that transportation trailer down on the north side of town behind M&B? Or not
The
M&B?
barricades,
Yeah.
I think they're like the townships or something that we got them from,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
However we can get it.
Oh, we got them from Beaver Creek.
Beaver Creek.
Yeah.
We got them from
Yeah,
Beaver
we
Creek.
got 'em
The
from
water,
Beaver
the
Creek.
water-filled ones, I think,
Okay.
yeah. Jesse will know.
Yeah. Sent the road department down with a trailer. They picked them up,
Right.
Okay.
and then we filled them with water with the water truck from the fire department.
I did call Paul DeButy, however it says that,
However it is.
from the county, because the OPWC applications are due on Monday. So, and I kind of had a hunch that they were going to fill out the OPWC for us. I just want to make sure it was this round that they were doing it for us. So, and he said, yeah, they were going to get us. They were in the process of doing that. Get us, copies of it so we can take a look at it, and if we have to sign anything, we'll get it signed, things like that. Then they'll get it sent in on Monday, and that's for the the resurfacing project on Enon Road from Main Street down to Green
Vista.
Vista. Yes, so that's underway, and once again they're taking care of that, which was pretty nice of them. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coons Drive resurfacing. I got the schedule for that. They're going to start grinding on September the 2nd, and with partial pavement repair on September the 10th. And then the asphalt resurfacing will be September 18th. So since I got that schedule, I'll get letters out to everybody in that area so they're aware of what's going to be happening. So, but that'll be... once that's done, that area will be completed. We did Fay Drive last year, so that's going to be a real nice project that has been completed. So, the Records Committee met earlier this evening. I just want to remind everybody the Shred event this year is Tuesday, August 31st at 5 to 7 p.m. here at the village office. So that's Tuesday, August 31st, 5 to 7 p.m. Let's see here. I think that's all I have for now.
Kevin, who attended the American Recovery Plan training, and have we filed for the document? I mean, we know how much we're going to get, but have
Right.
who
We-
attended the training, and have we filed for
We
it
have
yet?
not filed yet. I've been talking with Laura on that, and she said we had something like 60 days to turn in our agreement that we talked or had came before council last meeting. So we got 60 days to turn that in. But I mean, we turned it in, but there's
Yeah, but,
60
we
days
have
limit.
60 days, but
Yeah.
why?
We're not waiting 60 days, no. But
Yeah, but why are we waiting now?
I'd have to get with her and just see. I mean, because she was going to send all that in. So
We want to stay on top of that, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't.
yeah, it's not going to be a
that-
problem.
that-
It's not going to be a problem. So, but I'll make sure I get with her tomorrow and we'll get her sent in. And I don't know when the actual. I think do you have to send it in before you apply? I'm thinking that's the reason why, we had to agree to that agreement. So
But that was 2 weeks ago, right?
okay, yes. So
So she may have done it already.
she could have, because it was in her box and after the meeting, and she came in and picked all that paperwork up. So, but I will double check with her and I'll let all of you know tomorrow.
Even though that's allocated monies, should the funds be gone, we would be out of luck in that scenario, correct?
Well, no, because we already have so many dollars allocated to the village.
Correct.
We know exactly what that's going to be. Now, if you do not file in time, yes,
Then it just
then
revokes. Okay.
then you lose that. But I don't think we're in jeopardy of that. It just surprises me that we did this a couple weeks ago and we haven't applied for the funds yet. And so that part I don't understand.
Kevin, maybe a suggestion too on when we start doing coons. I know when Blue Jay got blacktopped 2 years ago, we were taking pictures of that. It might be, if I could suggest that we go out and take some pictures, particularly of the grinding down, because our citizens, for the streets and sidewalks, when they start wondering about where the money went to, we can't keep crowning these roads. So if we can show them we're out there actually grinding down the roads, we're trying to continue our the lack of ability for our drainage situations, and that's part of the reason why we're grinding them down, is so that the water flow can continue without being problematic. But if we can keep them up with that, that might just be a bonus for the village, just as a suggestion. Anything else for our administrator? Chief Holler.
Thank you, Mr. Hanna. Evening, council, village residents. First thing, I'll pass these around if you each take one, and just apologize for not passing them out in advance. I've got a resolution here, but I'd like to explain it just a little bit before I read it. I will request that, obviously, that you approve it and suspend the 3 reading rule. But before that, I give you a little history on it. I was approached by Brad McKee, who's the representing Green and Schools, and they have the new construction out there, obviously K through 12, and they have events. They have the football field that sits out on Robert Pike outside of the village's jurisdiction. They were looking to employ the police department to come out there and do some security for their football games, and I had to do some research. One of the reasons he had provided is they usually have the sheriff's office was doing it, but there was some new software and stuff that they were using, and I guess there was some couldn't come to terms on how to do that, but he had asked if we would be interested and I do anything for the community. So I told him I would look into it, and I did. I spoke with our insurance, who said that moonlighting, which we had in our previous stuff, they said it was fine, it would be covered and everything. As of course, the officers had to follow rules by being in uniform, use our equipment. And also I spoke with village solicitor Paul Kavanaugh, and in turn with my own education of the law and legal parameters. And there's nothing that would prevent us from doing it. So that being said, I did speak with our officers to make sure there were officers that would be willing to participate in that, and they did. So that being said, I have in front of you is a resolution number 2021-6, and I'll read it for you. It's a resolution authorizing Village of Enon police officers to provide security at the Greenon High School out there on Robert Pike. Whereas the Village of Enon has a police department pursuant to revised code 737.16, whereas Greenon School District has requested the Enon Police Department officers provide private security at sporting events that take place at the Greenon High School, which is in Mad River Township, but outside of the Village of Enon. Now therefore be it resolved by Council of the Village of Clark County, Ohio, that Section 1, village police officers provide private security at Greenon High School, and that Enon police officers may contract directly with Greenon Schools to provide security at the Greenon High School events, provided, however, that the Enon police officers shall comply with all state and federal laws while providing security. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. And of course, the signatures at the bottom. This would be, I spoke with Laura, this would be, the officers would be paid directly from the schools, would not go through our current payroll. However, it would be like the road construction that we did like on 70 and 4, which we did years back when we assisted the county on that. But anyways, I just ask that council would approve that, please. And
So there are no concerns from a jurisdiction perspective, Chief?
no, the police officers have jurisdiction statewide. Early in my career, I worked a lot of, we call it off-duty security gigs in various parts of Dayton, and it was kind of populated. We do have the authority to arrest statewide in view of public safety. However, our officers would be acting as anybody else out there in law enforcement. The deputies do have jurisdiction, but ours would be operating more as a security. If there was an incident where there would justify an arrest or something like that, our officers would simply detain and then contact the sheriff's office who has jurisdiction, and we would have them handle the investigation and the arrest. They would simply just provide, witness stuff and all that. I know the school doesn't normally have incidents, but we're all professional, and they would act in a professional manner. I'd assure that, but it's a nice opportunity for them. And again, when the school asks,
And be clear, this would not be any of our road, the present people would have on the road. This would be officers that are off duty and be working through the.
That's correct, sir. It would be outside of their duty. We would still have our duty officers. It would not be the duty officer. The school has asked that 2 officers on Friday nights, football games. Again, this is only during the football months. But I told them if we were staffed short, maybe 1. I can tell you that I told our officers that this is an opportunity for them. I would try not to do it. Obviously, everything falls on my shoulders if they need help, but.
We need the 3 reading
We
rule,
do.
please.
I move to suspend the 3 reading rule for this resolution.
A second?
Second.
Okay. If you'll call a roll, Mr. Seibert?
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes. Now for the motion.
And I'll move that we approve resolution 2021-06
I'll
as
second.
read by the chief.
I'll second.
And the roll.
Mr. Babcock?
Yes.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes. This will be approved then by council, awaiting the signature of the mayor and the village solicitor.
Thank you. Second on my list, I I'm asking all kind of stuff, and we have the mayor's absent, so I apologize. I had it on the agenda. If we want to move it till later, we can, but I wanted to discuss our full-time officers. We are slotted for 4 full-time officers, and in a previous safety committee meeting, they had recommended that we move forward with a 5th full-time spot, and I had asked Laura if we'd had the funds, and she stated that we did. One of the things I have noticed here, and I'm sure you all have, we have part-time officers that act in a full-time capacity. And what I mean by that is they work full-time hours without the benefits, and also, which is something that keeps us here, right? It keeps the employees wanting to stay here. We've increased the pay and stuff, and our equipment is, in my opinion, top-notch for the size that we are. However, we do struggle with retention, and we also we don't have enough. So if we could add, I'm asking council approve a 5th full-time officer, and the reason for that is we already have officers that act in a full-time capacity at a part-time status, and from my own history, and even from the history of this agency, I think it will help our retention and hopefully reduce some of our uniform training costs and help us retain and invest in another officer, as you've invested in me and others here that's been here long enough. So that's one of the things I'm asking.
All of that being said, I'd like to make a motion to hire a 5th full-time
Yes.
officer for the village of Enon.
And I second.
Call the roll, Kevin?
Mr. Babcock?
Absolutely.
Mrs. Sweet?
Yes.
Mr. Bear?
Yes.
Mrs. Fogel?
Yes.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
appreciated.
that kind of segues into my committee report. We're going to need a public safety meeting committee here shortly, but go ahead and finish your report.
Absolutely, sir. I always put miscellaneous communications, and the reason why I do that is just in case. I want to tell you that our cradle points, that our broadband and stuff that we put in the car seems to be working fine. I did have a little bit of an issue with one of them. They're going to send me a different SIMS card, but the officers reported that their connectivity is fantastic, and we haven't had any issues. Also, AT&T offers the FirstNet, who is where we switched our cell service. They have the push-to-talk option, and I did add that today at a cost of $5 per line of the 3 lines. That was a $15 cost. That, in my opinion, and the reason why I went forward with it is because it will be beneficial at events, parades and such, because a lot of times we do call each other from the phones, and that push-to-talk feature, which we had way back in the day, FirstNet does provide that, and a lot of law enforcement agencies utilize that, and I thought since we had the lines for, obviously officers to use, we might as well implement that feature, and it would help with events and stuff like that. So I just want to bring you up to speed on that. Other than that, that's all I have tonight.
Now, do we have that availability on the admin side phones as well, or strictly from the police side?
I
Based off
don't
of
know.
that
I think there's only one admin phone, but
Okay.
because I forfeited, I say forfeited, I'm trying to cut costs, but yet in the same token, I wanted to eliminate carrying two phones, and that's why I put the phones in for the whole group to use. My understanding was that I couldn't get that on my personal line because it wasn't technically a government line, because one of their sales pitches was, well, you can just talk to your officers from the house, push to talk. And I said, well, I don't have a department issued phone anymore. We can all take one, but I don't think they offer it in the private
Okay.
part. But
Yeah, I thought, well, if we were on the same plan, if that might be beneficial to you guys, but if it's not there, it's no big deal.
I can ask them, as I know that they have to. I know me and the administrator talked about it, and I'm not sure what he's decided. They have to set that separate lineup, and there was a lot. I talked to the guy today, Tim, because I was talking to him about that. There is a lot of paperwork they have to do on their side to set up that.
Okay, future thoughts. Maybe you guys get together and see if it's possible, or even was it desired, so,
We'll see how it works.
okay.
Thank you.
Any question? The cruiser, should we wait for a 2022 at this point, or anticipated 2022?
I know, and I have your emails. I know we talked about the F-150s, and it was kind of we were just kind of joking about it about a year ago. But I talked to one of my friends in law enforcement. I don't know if they have any of those on a lot. I know the fuel efficiency was roughly the same as SUVs, but at this point, if they don't get our cruiser made pretty soon, we might have to order another one just because. The miles, we have the miles restriction, as you know, months, that's a lot. And I've tried to forecast it. We've been behind for a while, but we've been really good at playing catch up, but the rotation is still right there. I don't know. I can't make them make it, but I hope that it heals soon.
Yeah, we have discussed the possibility of a pickup for outside events and things of that nature. They've got some new ones that just came out from Ford that have some positive features off of that. But again, we'll leave that to the chief. But it's a possible option, I suppose, if we get to the situation where we can't get a replacement because of the computer chips.
Yeah, I know a friend of mine at the Park District. They have a couple. My first thing was no, the gas, but and it's not. Would it be beneficial? Of course, we could use it, but is it something we need? No. But in the same token, the inside room now is the same as the SUVs, and you have that truck portion. For example, National Night Out and things like that. We always use the. But right now, I'm looking for a marked cruiser to get on the streets to help with, relieve the stress on the old one. So I don't know. Where we're at now is the SUV, but maybe we'll look down the line. Maybe we have to move to a different model.
Have they officially delayed it?
Yes, they've called me and they said they do not have an official start date and they can't give me one. And Ford has shut down production. I believe it was 1 week a month and indefinite because of the chip shortage. And
Okay.
no police cars.
Any other questions, concerns for the chief?
Nope.
All righty. Committee reports. Do we have any other committee reports at this point? I think Ms. Sweet.
The Public Service Committee met July 20th. The committee members, Mr. Whitaker, Mr. Bier, myself, Mr. Howard, Mr. Seifert, and Chief Holler were all at the meeting also. We had a guest speaker, Mike Hennekamp from Ohio Plan, Inc., and the topic of discussion was pay scale and compensation of employees. And Mr. Hennekamp he presented how he and Ohio Plan could create a plan specific to our needs. And we provide the information that we have, and they will make the recommendations both with the pay scale and employee policy handbooks. He will get information from the chief and from the administrator to put together a cost for putting together a package to present to the committee. And then when that's done, we will review that, adjust to fit us, and then present to council for approval and implementing.
Okay.
So
You have a motion to
a
approve?
motion to approve this, and there are only two committee members here are Mr. Bear and me, so,
I'll second.
okay.
And who's gonna
Motion,
second
seconds. That's.
All
the
those
end
in
of my-
favor?
All in favor, aye.
Any opposed?
Yep,
Okay.
we oppose each other.
And just for the people that, I know we've had a little bit of information delays, but what we're trying to do is to set up the Village of Enon to be more of a career position than just being an employer. And we're looking at long-term conditions of employment where our employees can better themselves and the village can offer a better employment package to them. So that's ideally a win-win situation from that committee. And I appreciate the time, and that's not an easy effort by any means, and for the chief and Kevin as well. So more power to you. We appreciate what you're doing off of that.
And if I may, they did get in contact with us. We have a scheduled telephone conference with Mike on Monday, so
Wonderful. Okay.
he's moving that right along.
Great.
Thank you.
I see no old business. Any old business we would presented? Any new business to be presented this evening? We have no executive session. With that, we will open the meeting to public comments, and Mr. Jeremy Hawks, if you'd like to step forward and tell us what's on your mind, we're happy to listen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jeremy Hawks. I reside at 115 Taylor Street. I apologize, Mrs. Vogel. Everybody seems to be on the side of the room. I'm here this evening to discuss the acquisition of the parcel property from the Knob Prairie Church, which kind of adjoins mine and several of my neighbors. I come here as the voice of all the interested parties besides Knob Prairie Church to raise objection to that purchase and to say that we really don't think this was thought through very well. My understanding, I haven't seen from council notes or from any village meeting minutes, nothing's been online, that the plan is to build a village garage on that property. If I'm misinformed, please say so now. I hate to make assumptions.
I think that's a little premature, to be honest. At this point, we really don't know what we're doing. to be honest.
Understood. What I will say is that being a resident of this village for 35 years and being part of this village, really my family for 75 years, I just don't think this is the right direction for the village. So we're going to look at purchasing a piece of property that is the entrance into our village, and that if a decision hasn't been made, that I would strongly suggest that if the village does complete this transaction, that we look at something a little more suitable as the entrance point to our village. Secondly, with that piece of property there, my parents owned our property for the last 33 years, and I've owned it the last 2. Our land is actually the collection point of all the water from that corner of the village and that corner of the township. So any of the water that runs off from Scout Specialties, from any of the anything from Knob Prairie Church, from their new blacktop area that now runs into that piece of property, kind of comes around and comes through and lands into mine. So I have a vested interest that any improvement to that land, where that drainage will go and will that be metered. I don't have an objection, for the betterment of the community if I can be of help to that. However, right now at a heavy rain, I see 6 inches come across my driveway. So with that being said, I think that if, additional paving, permeable surfaces are added to that property raised, that my land will also see that itself. So right now, 6 inches of rain, I find half of my driveway in my front yard. So obviously from my standpoint, I want to stress to the village that this improvement, whatever it should be well thought out, well engineered, and to take place with water restrictions or water affluent reviewed, discussed with the neighbors, and how that's going to affect the community around that. With that also being said, unless this acquisition was free, little concern from taxpayers' standpoint that we would invest in a piece of property. If that would be for a village garage where we have 8 doors to begin with right now, to place another garage just doesn't seem smart. We asked the village taxpayers for tax levy to support Chief Holler, to support our streets. That I think that to date we seem to be a little asset heavy and property heavy, personnel heavy in some of the positions, and would ask for reconsideration of these expenses. So with that, I thank you for your attention tonight.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other concerns? Anything else anybody would like to add before we close the meeting? With that, I would take a
Motion to adjourn, sir?
motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
and a second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? With that, we have it.
7:42.
Thank you for all participating this evening. We appreciate you coming out and those that have tuned in. So thanks again. We speak for Mayor Howard.
That's a lot of water across the traffic. How would